Let's take a look at one of the main features of PCAs, its ability to carry out quantitative narrative analysis, or Q&A, with data organized in a story-like form, with actors doing things in time and space pro or against other actors. Basically, it's the 5Ws plus H structure of stories: who, what, when, where, why, and how. No other Cactus software allows you to do this. Cactus are computer-assisted data analysis software such as HSTI, MaxQDA, or MVivo. Of course, you do not need to organize your grammar of data collection or coding scheme along the lines of the 5Ws plus H, and you can set up your grammar as a more traditional content analysis project. But if you do set up your grammar to capture the basic elements of a story, PCA's form Story View will let you display your data in a story-like fashion. Let's take a look at this important form and hit F5 to open it. And here it is. Let's click on the drop-down menu to select one of the primary complex. And here is the story that the routine has generated. Let's take a few minutes to understand what is going on inside the main subform where the story is displayed. This part of the form right here. You can scroll down along the subform, and perhaps the first thing that strikes us is the different colors displayed in the subform: black, gray, blue, green, and red. Each color means different things, and if you forget what they mean, the legenda here tells you what they are. Basically, all identifiers, at least for the hierarchical complex objects, are displayed in gray. If you untick the identifiers checkbox up here, the identifiers will not be displayed. If we generate the story again, here we go. Strings taken from the documents are printed in blue. Those would be the set of information that you have entered in the database. You can easily focus on the blue items to read each semantic triplet, basically a sentence in a story. So the first triplet will read: Negro, male Negro, and 4 individuals broke into violence before a given event, broke into, a store in Liberty County owned by Mr. Chapman. This makes sense as a narrative sentence of someone doing something pro or against someone else. All the names of the objects of the grammar are printed in black right before any blue item. If you do not want to see them, untick the object names checkbox right here, and we generate the story again. And here we go. The same first triplet now looks like this. Here. Of course, you may wonder, what are those asterisks that magically appear in the printout? What do they mean? Basically, they signal the way a complex object would have been coded, for example, entered in the database in the process of coding, either in the Cactus form or in the detailed view form. The single asterisk identifies an object that is a linked object, an object that points to another object in the database, an exact copy of an original object. It is an object that you cannot modify without also modifying the original and any other objects linked to the same original. Objects with double asterisks are objects copied from another object, but objects that can be modified and that have no memory of the original object from which they were copied. An object with triple asterisks is a copied and linked object. So it is an object that can be modified, but that keeps track of the object it was copied from. The copied and copied linked options are great saving devices for creating objects. The more information you have to code for any given object that appears several times, the more time you save through copying and pasting. And what about this button here, Set Story View, Highlight, and Exclude Properties? The button opens a form where you can select certain objects for special highlight or exclusion from the printout of the story view. Let's click on the button. And now let's highlight the complex object actor by clicking on the highlight tick box. And then let's search for the simplex object aggregate code, scrolling down the list. They are in alphabetical order, all complex first, then simplex. And click on the tick box exclude for the simplex aggregate code. Now we can close the form, select again the tick box object names, and rerun the story. And here is what it looks like now. All actors are now underlined in bold, and the string violence after broke into is gone. Let's turn to the color green. You can double-click on any of those green objects to unfold them and see all the information they contain in a new instance of the story view form. And here we go. If you would rather see all the information that condensed object contain directly in the same form, untick the condensed list children tick box and run the story again. Here. And here is what it looks like. Okay, except for the color red, we are done with the color scheme. There are two more options in the top bar worth noting. First, the generated story displays at the top all the cross-reference documents here. If you do not want to see the list of documents, you need to untick the documents tick box right here. Let's try that and rerun the story. And here we go. Also notice this other tick box print vertically. Let's try it and regenerate the story. If this output format is more readable for you, by all means use this option. Let's now focus on some of the options available in the lower part of the form. First, the search option. Let's try it. Let's enter the word Negro using the newspaper language of the times and search for it. Every instance of the word found has been turned orange, and the search routine has positioned itself on the first occurrence of the word, turning it black. You can scroll through all occurrences back and forward by clicking on those two buttons, Find Next and Find Previous. Click Cancel to reset the form. The Go To button here will allow you to zoom into any complex object you will have selected by clicking on it in the subform. Let's try that. Do you see how it changes every time you click on a different part of the subform, selecting a different object? Let's click on Go To, and you are brought in the Detail View form, where you can actually edit the information, adding new objects, or renaming or deleting previously coded objects. There are a few options that we have not discussed: the object displayed in red, the Perform Action button, and the two buttons IO and SC right here that stand for Input-Output Verification and Semantic Coherence Verification. They have to do with data verification, basically data quality control. Please watch the videos on StoryView form and data verification to learn more about these options and about data quality control.